Hello, everybody. Welcome to Carnivore Sunday School. Today is October 19th, and it's 1 p.m. in the United States Eastern. It's 6 p.m. over there in rainy, cold United Kingdom. I keep hearing how cold it's getting and rainy. And we have a special guest with us today. Her name is Nicky, aka Miss Laugh a Lot. She better make me laugh. and our regular guests, our regular hosts, Stephanie at Happy Sexy Health, and George, who is good enough for us. And he has a new YouTube name, Good Enough for You. So we're going to go around starting clockwise with Nicky and going around. We're going to do a very brief introduction, and then we'll get to our wonderful guest. And she'll tell us all about how Carnivore has helped her. All right. Well, she's first. Let's start with, let's go ahead and start with, I'll go first then. I like to go clockwise.
Okay.
So I'm John Laspina. I'm the Carnivore teacher, and I'm on YouTube and all the other social media sites. I'm not going to list them all. I put a video out on every day. I've been Carnivore coming up this January on 3 full years. Before that, I was Ketovore for 3 years. And before that, I was keto for 1 year. And I have healed many parts of my body, my emotional health. I lost a chunk of weight. I've never felt better. And so I'm paying it forward with our Sunday school, our Carnivore Sunday School, and with some teaching videos, because I used to be a middle school teacher 34 years. So I'm kind of still teaching on YouTube. So I'm paying it forward by making some teaching videos. And I also do interviews. I just interviewed our wonderful host, Stephanie. And so that's what I'm doing here. So I'll tell you more about me later, or you already know about me. Let's go to George. George, fill us in on why you are good enough.
Okay, so my name is George Goodenough. I'm your 60-year-old carnivore friend from Bridgewater in Somerset, England. I've been in this space 3.5 years now. I came here to heal type 2 diabetes and morbid obesity, which I successfully did. It's been 2 years and 2 months since I've made my first friend in the carnivore community. And now that I've healed and am in maintenance mode, then my focus has switched from healing myself to helping others heal and building the carnivore community. To that end, I am now a Dr. Kilt's health coach, certified ketogenic and carnivore health coach, as indeed are the majority of this panel. And also, I've always joked that I was the self-appointed UK ambassador to the USA carnivore community. However, I'm delighted to say that the Healing Humanity team in Kerry Mann, Lynn Devoki, and Adam Lacey have actually picked up on that. And Kerry himself publicly recognised my status as the self-appointed UK ambassador to the USA carnivore community. So yeah, I'm very, very highly active on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm getting quite a few comments from my colleagues here that apparently I pretty much get everywhere these days, which is pretty good coming from them in many ways. But yeah, I enjoy it very much, having some great success, reaching out to people in a sort of diplomatic way. And if I don't actually get carnivore converts, then people actually know what the carnivore lifestyle is all about, having met me. And I'm getting 1 or 2 carnivore converts. Anyway, so that's my brief story, and it's over to Sister Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie, and I'm at Happy Sexy Health, which I do with my sister. And like John and George, we're all about inspiring people to take up the carnivore keto way of eating. And it helped me to heal from stage 4 ovarian cancer. And I don't just do primal eating, also primal living, getting out in the sunshine as much as possible. And so from Tuesday, I'm very excited because I'm leaving behind cold, dark Wales in the UK, and I'm going to Ionatha in Cyprus, where it's going to be hot, hot, hot for us Brits anyway. So thank you. And over to you, Nicky.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm a host of and co-host of Club Carnivore. George Goodenough has been helping, and Yeah, I've cheekily called him the carnivore historian. So he's been graciously showing us the history of carnivore. Thank you so much. So we'll be on live in a couple hours. But so join us at Club Carnivore. I've been carnivore for 2 years, just over 2 years, and my inspiration was I was diagnosed as type 2, and so I immediately started because I heard of Kerry Mann and what he was promoting and what happened to him. So I decided to immediately do a carnivore. And I do different things, but I'm mostly carnivore. And I actually lost 30 pounds and now I've gained 40. Well, here I am.
I've heard that with some people that go up and go down, and it's probably, maybe you can share with us, if the fat and the muscle and the fascia ratio changed in your body. So maybe we'll get to that. So you're our guest today, Nicky, Miss Laugh a Lot. Can you tell us, once I finish my little intro here, how you got your handle, Miss Laugh a Lot? Nicky was diagnosed in July of 2023 with type 2 diabetes, and then diagnosed, it says, as a type 1 in December of 23. Now doing the DFF diet as a C-peptide experiment. Let's Eat Challenge on Club Carnivore. Goal is to help raise $30,000 for Healing Humanity's documentary, book and series on GoFundMe, and subscribe to Club Carnivore. So we've got a lot to talk about today, lots to share. So we'll go ahead and we'll let you get started. Can we first start with your nickname?
Nickname, years ago, maybe 20 years ago, I was creating a podcast, and I was trying to come up with a name. I'd just been trained in laughter yoga, and so I wanted to promote laughter. And so somebody invited me to do a podcast. I'm like, sure. And my friend said, you should be Miss Laugh a Lot. I said, okay. So
I
I've been
love
Miss
that.
Laugh a Lot ever since.
Laughter's medicine, right?
It is. Yes, and much more, right? Much more.
Okay. Tell us about your type 2 and then type 1 diabetes diagnosis.
Thank you. I'm so happy to tell this story because it's so important.
Yeah.
I started off having symptoms. My first symptom was I woke up in the middle of the night with an extreme pain in my calf, and I jumped out of bed. Something strongly said squat, because I'm like, oh my God, am I having a stroke? Like, I seriously thought, I'm gonna die. So I started squatting, and because chopping my leg wouldn't help, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. Like, this has never happened before. So I just started squatting, and of course that was a severe magnesium deficiency. My body was clearly telling me something is wrong. I had been vegetarian for 16 years to stop another autoimmune attack that happened about a month after I was vaccinated for the first time in my adult life. I had never, ever gotten a vaccine, didn't feel there was a need for it, but I went. They were coming to my work that day, and I just decided, okay, I'll get a vaccination. And then a month later, I got an attack. So from there, I decided to cut out all my carbs, and I stopped that attack like that, just by cutting off the carbs, the bread, rice, and pasta. Okay. I had no idea that vegetables were carbs too at that time. I had no idea. I just thought in my mind at that time, that's bread, rice, and pasta, and that worked. So in 2023, I was diagnosed as type 2, and so the symptoms were, of course, that leg attack, the cramp, and then I started frequent urination, urination by torture, I cheekily call it. Just urination, and in my sleep I was having these really vivid dreams, like all night, and it was for several months. I refused to go to the doctor, but for several months, as my hormones were changing, my body just slipped into this amazing dream realm for several months. It was really cool. And then I finally went to the doctor, and he said, "You're type 2." And so Carrie Mann and Dr. Baker had been showing up on my feed. And so when, just about a few weeks after they told me that I was type 2, I started a house sitting job, and I decided that's when I'm going to start, right? Because I kept hearing them. And so I threw out all my fruits and vegetables, and I began it there. My vision had blurred so bad. I tasted something in their house. It was, they said I could eat their food. So I'm like, okay. So, but I tasted this something. It said you can't eat it while it's, you have to cook it. But it was some kind of sweet caramel thing. Even though I had just decided to be carnivore, I just decided to taste this thing. And I just took one little powder. I didn't intend to eat it, but I just went like this and tasted it. And my eyes just were really blurry. Like it was quite scary. I turned around and looked at the stove, which was about 8 feet away, and I couldn't see the time. I had to go straight up to it about 5 centimeters, a few inches towards the stove for me to see it. And then I got real serious right then. And I've been carnivore ever since. I've moved through some experiments. Sometimes I do I've had sweets, like very rarely, but I've tried them. And lately I've been doing the DFF, like you said. And sometimes I'll try keto, sometimes I'll try ketovore. Just as an experiment, because I'm new to this. It's only been 2 years.
What is DFF?
Duck, fat, and fish.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure if our audience knew what that was.
Yeah. So, and here I am.
I would love to know more about that. I've not heard of the duck, fat, and fish. Do you mean duck, fat, and fish, or is it duck, fat, and then fish? And
duck,
tell us where it comes from. What's the idea of this duck and fat and fish?
It just came to me. Duck has a lot of. I wanted to see the difference between duck. I looked up the nutrients in duck and how it compared to beef and chicken and stuff like that. And I thought, I just want to see how my body responds to duck, because it's got a lot of fat.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course combining the sardines. I mostly eat sardines, but I've been eating a lot of salmon as well.
Wonderful. Those are healthy omega-3 fatty acids that we need, that I don't think is in. So you're getting the other saturated fats from the duck and the flavor from the duck. I know that. My friend Rick from Miami will tell you all about the duck fat. So duck, fat, and fish. And did you coin that? Or is that something that's out there that I never heard of? DFF.
I have never heard it before until it came through my mind. Somebody else might have, but yes, I can say that I've
trademark that now. So we all use the proper human diet. We know that comes from Dr. Ken Berry. DFF from Miss Laffel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's type 2. And now type 1, and some of our audience may not know that there is a complete difference between type 2 and type 1. I wish they wouldn't call them both diabetes, personally. So can you address the differences for the audience? What is the difference between type 2 and 1, and the fact that you were diagnosed with both?
Yeah, that's the mystery that I want to ensure that people know, right? When there's obviously something that needs to be uncovered, because obviously the doctor that diagnosed me was negligent, and he didn't understand or didn't look. And as Amy Perrin said yesterday, that perhaps he just assumed because I'm adult that I was type 1. But numerically, and I checked a couple weeks ago with my doctor, I said, how are my C-peptides from the beginning of diagnosis to now? He said, they're the same. Oh, really? Okay. So anybody who knows anything about how to diagnose the difference, now obviously this is the doctor didn't do his due diligence, because, or he's just uneducated. He should have known that I was type 1 by looking at the numbers. So because I heard of the carnivore diet, I thought, okay, type 2 is reversible according to all of these fabulous doctors and this information that has been popping up in my feed. I'm like, I believe it. I had zero faith in the health system for years. I resisted it for years. And the only vaccination I ever got was that one when I was 33. But it made complete sense to me to go carnivore, because I'm like, well, I cut out the carbs, the plants, the bread, rice, and pasta. Well, those are essentially coming from plants, right? And they've got a lot of gluten in them. Okay, this makes sense. So the type 1 diagnosis came after about 6 months, well, from July to the end of December in July 23, when I wasted away to 84 pounds. Before diagnosis, I was about 119, 120. Slim build, you know, I was in very good shape, very slim. I'm 5'1" 3/4. So 84 pounds, I was lighter than my best friend's 11-year-old daughter, and way skinnier, which was quite frightening. My brain shrunk, obviously. My head shrunk. My hat, and you'll see in my Miss Laugh-A-Lot page on YouTube, I often would wear this hat, and I wanted to remember. I want everyone to remember this, and I want myself to remember how deeply destructive that diagnosis was, because look how much weight that I lost. That was severe brain damage that I encountered. Okay, losing that much fat in the brain. Now, I also want to tell everybody what also happened, and the what I witnessed and my cognitive ability at that time. I'm trained, and I was trained years ago on how to stop thoughts in an instant, and I honed it for years. And I had this thought that kept coming to my mind, and it could not. I couldn't stop it. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but one sentence kept coming to my mind, and I'm like, what in the hell? And many years ago, I used to work with a very highly autistic boy, and I thought, this is how he acts. This is how he acts. It's like he can't control his actions. He cannot control some of the things he's doing. And I'm like, and it just made sense to me, because so that happened for, I don't know, maybe a few months, that severe, that thought. And I couldn't control it. I tried to use all my mighty swords in my head, the ones that I'd trained for years, pretty stealthy at it. I got very good at it. I knew how to block out anything that coming in. Like you can't come in here. Thanks, I'm busy. Right? That, because I mean, thoughts become things. Thoughts become disease. I know that. Right? So as soon as I got diagnosed, or my first hospitalization in December, they started giving me insulin. I gave them the permission to give me insulin. I refused the insulin on the type 2 diagnosis, because I thought, hey, no, if then, because I looked up the difference between type 2 and type 1. I'm like, why do I need insulin? If you're telling me I'm type 2 and my pancreas works, it's creating insulin, then why are you telling me to take insulin? This does not make sense. So I refused the insulin. So I wasted away to 84 pounds. Wasted away. I could barely walk.
You're getting to the heart of the question. With your C-peptide numbers, they should have shown that your beta cells are not generating any or at all or much insulin. Is that correct? That makes you a type 1 diabetic, not a type 2. Type 2, exactly. Correct me if I'm wrong, your body's actually making more insulin, but it's your cells are resisting
Exactly. You got
all right.
insulin.
So that's the difference. And you actually had one, and so
I
your
had
body
one.
wasted away. Wow. You have one.
So I'm wondering how many people, is that the cover up?
I wonder.
Don't even get me started. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Hmm.
is that why they're, like, I'm gonna close my mouth on that. But anyway, I could talk, right?
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
glad that I had to go. Unfortunately, it was scary as hell. It was terrifying and it was awful. I could barely walk. I was just this scrawny little
Right.
thing.
That's what diabetes does. Yeah.
If you look at my shorts on my Miss Laugh-A-Lot page, you'll see the progression. You'll see the progression of just before diagnosis and my documentation of the whole thing. So, yeah, it was it's fascinating. So I don't regret it. I'm glad that I uncovered that. I had to go through a whole lot of shit to uncover that.
Are you on a CGM and giving yourself insulin daily now, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I give myself and I don't have to use a lot. When I'm eating red meat, I have to take more.
Oh, you do? Well, okay.
So
Protein.
when I eat fish, it's less.
Mm-hmm.
So I've for me, I don't know about anybody else, a big chunk of steak, I'm like, no, it's caused me so much stress because because I need to, I believe that yes, red meat, absolutely. Eat the red meat, eat the hamburger, eat the brisket, all of it. For me at this time, because I'm a baby diabetic and I make pretty much zero insulin. Okay, so that sets me apart from Amy Perrin, who makes much more than me. So she takes less insulin because her body makes more insulin. So there's no comparison between me and her. Okay. Now, yesterday I was on a show, or the other day on Amy's show, there was 3 of us type 2, type 1 diabetics, right? We all had different C-peptides. We're all taking different amounts of insulin. And Jennifer takes she's wearing a pump, right? So it's very, very interesting to see the conversation that comes out between 3 type 1 diabetics. So I realized that the steak was not working for me. It was causing me way too much stress. So I'm like, okay, what if I have hamburger because it's digested? It's cut up. So it's less, and it just seemed logical to me. And what if I just, pate or the hamburger because it's it would take less energy to digest. And I was right. Now with fish, I take way less insulin. Like I don't like if I have a meal with meat, like with a steak or even hamburger, I'm taking about at least double the insulin. With fish, I'm taking half. Like
I wonder if it's related to the amount of protein. The steak may have higher protein, and the ground beef a little less, fish a little less than the meat. Because
maybe I think the possibility is there. I think it's probably a combination of the protein and the physical substance is thicker.
Because it's not glucose.
It's a thicker substance, so it only makes sense for me. Like if you take something in a grinder or a blender, it's going to take more energy to move a chunk of something as something that's already chopped up. That just seemed logical to me. But when what you say is bringing more protein, that I think that would be correct as well. I think they're both equally correct.
I've learned that the pancreas is directly matched to the amount of protein, 1-to-1. Unlike carbs, it overshoots, and that's why we get too much insulin. But you mentioned also, I want to go on to that topic, because I was a teacher of middle school students for 34 years. I have had my share of students who were autistic, all on all different parts of the spectrum. And I have had obsessive compulsive thoughts myself before the ketones. I honestly think fixed them in my head. That you don't have to say that phrase that you said you didn't want to say, but that repetitive thing that kept coming into your head. How do you think this was connected to? Was it because you had high sugar in your body, and now that you have maybe more fatty acids and ketones that repaired that part of your brain? Or do you still have that repetitive thought and you know how to
Oh God,
control
no.
it? It's gone.
Oh God, no. Yeah, it's gone. It's a good question. I'm going to keep exploring it. But I mean, all I know is that as soon as insulin entered my body, so of course, I think it would be a combination, high sugars and then high sugars and the insulin obviously brought it down and it created more fat. So it's a combination. I don't think it's just one thing.
Right.
It's of course the sugars came down and the like I wasn't even monitoring my sugars.
Hmm.
They didn't even tell me to monitor my sugars, which is I think is an absolute what George
crime.
said the other day on Club Carnivore. He said something to the this is not exactly what he said. He said something about a massacre, a diabetic massacre, which I believe it is. And I believe anybody who's dealing with any disease, I think it would be very smart to take a look at a CGM. Is
Absolutely.
the metabolic dysfunction the root of all diseases, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would want to know with anybody. Let me see your
Absolutely.
CGM.
Absolutely. Steph, George,
And
questions, thoughts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problems. I'll just jump in here. Metabolic mass manslaughter is is what I regard the mainstream medical industry's attitude towards carbohydrates and type 2 diabetes.
You're damn right. I agree.
Yeah, but just to pick up on the importance of the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes, I totally agree with John. They should not have the same name because type 1 diabetes is a genuine condition where it can't be helped. I'm almost embarrassed to have once been known as a diabetic because it was type 2. It turns out it's totally self-inflicted, inadvertently, in most people's cases, through a lack of knowledge, through a lack of education. Once I was given that education, type 2 diabetes was gone within 5 months. So how can we regard type 2 diabetes as a serious disease? It shouldn't have the same name. You can either call it malnutrition or hyperinsulinemia or hyperglycemia, but it is eminently curable, if you like. So that's a sad thing. And another point, I discovered a friend of mine introduced me to a song on YouTube the other night, and it's called The Diabetes Blues. It's by a local man to me. I'd never heard of him. I think his name's Jeff Brookside. But if you look up The Diabetes Blues, and the channel's called DMM on YouTube, then it is about a story about a young man who was misdiagnosed with type 2 and then went back and was he was told he was misdiagnosed with type 2 and told that he was ill and would have to take a pill. But then he went back 3 months later and was told, actually, no, it's type 1 and it's going to be an injection from now on. I think those are the words or something. And coming from Somerset, which is the home of the apple and the apple wine or beer, which is called cider, he was lamenting the fact that he couldn't drink cider anymore because he's being a Somerset. And I know that because I basically was living in cider country up until 3.5 years ago. I used to drink it. I had to give it up myself, so I know where he's coming from. So yeah, the Diabetes Blues out there on YouTube. I think maybe we can incorporate that somewhere along the line into our campaign. And interestingly enough, he's a solo singer. He's local to me, and he's a friend of the guy who introduced me to his music. And I've got half an idea that I might be able to convince him to come and sing the Diabetes Blues at the meetup next year. So watch this space on that one.
What's his last name, George?
Sorry?
What's his last name, you said?
Right, okay. I can't remember exactly, but if you look up the Diabetes Blues, his channel name is DMM. But I can find that out in between now and Club Carnivore. I will have his name for you, Nicky. Don't worry. Sorry, I cut Steph off at the beginning of her question, so I'm going to hand it over to Steph because I can tell you're eager to get involved.
I am. I wanted to get my because the other day I was saying, this ignorance of the doctors when you go there with your beginnings of pre-diabetes or insulin resistance symptoms, and that's the time when they could say, hey, do this turn your don't eat carbs. Basically, that's all they need to say. They can say it in their 5-minute or 10-minute appointment, because we can then go from there and look online and find out about carbs and all the rest of it. If people want to do that, they then have the opportunity. And I saw a very exciting interview on YouTube, and it was one of my hero doctors in the UK, Dr. David Unwin, who coaches his patients on how to reverse their type 2 diabetes. He's based in Stockport. That's an area where many people have English as a second language, do not have a high level of education necessarily, are often living on low income. And he's able to teach it to them because it's something that anyone can understand. And that's why it's so frustrating that these doctors who have been to medical school for 7 years at a minimum, they have also got the experience of working with patients often for decades. I know it's not the individual doctor's fault, but it's launching upon the whole world this tsunami or avalanche of chronic disease that would never have happened if we'd just been told at the beginning. And also, I know that John will have something to add, but before I relinquish the mic, while I've still got it, I would just like to go over to some of the comments that we have had today. And I just want to say a huge welcome to Carnivore Muscle, who's listening on or watching on my channel, and to everyone else who I've been able to talk to in the comments. It's great to have you all here. And one of the big comments that you made earlier, Nicky, is I didn't know that vegetables are carbs, and so many people do not know this. And John made this comment. It's about starch. Starch is a long string of glucose molecules. Vegetables contain starch. Rice, bread, potatoes contain starch. Starch equals a glucose, because as soon as you eat them, they're those molecules holding hands in a chain. And then when you eat them, they let go, and they're just sugar in the blood. So fabulous. Nancy wished me a hot vacation. Nancy, I look forward to next Sunday. Hopefully the Wi-Fi and everything is good, and I'm on here showing you the view, showing you the heat. Although by the 6 p.m. I'm not sure what the temperature will be like, but I'm so excited and looking forward to it, and a bit overwhelmed because it's the first time, even at my I was going to say advanced age, but I've never been away for a month at a time. So
I just need to jump in here because Steph is actually going to a place I know incredibly well. For 5.5 years, I lived just up the road from where she's going. So I know Cyprus and Iron Napa like the back of my hand. Actually, there is my old local pub from those days is still run by the same gentleman called Aristos. And his pub is just a fairly short taxi ride up the road, or a drive up the road from Steph, and he's expecting you. So so she does have a ready-made friend in Cyprus already. I've known Aristos for 38 years. We still have plenty of video calls between us. So he's still a great friend of mine. I can tell you, Steph, that the days are going to be hot in Cyprus, but you can expect at this time of the year some spectacular thunderstorms as well. But they pass briefly, and they are brief, and they're great fun when they come. And the nights are, they're cool, but you're going to get plenty of sunshine at this time of year. And crazy Brits can still go down the beach. The Cypriots laugh at us for going down the beach in the autumn, but you can still get some sunshine and some beach weather. The official tourist season ends on September the 30th in Cyprus, so you are going slightly out of season. But there's still plenty of warm weather. Just expect to get wet on 1 or 2 occasions. That's what I will say.
Yes, well, something to look forward to. Right, so I'm going to next come up to Rick, who has been talking to us in the comments, of course, about eating duck and iguana.
I love that.
The only reason to eat carbs is when you have no meat. Quack, quack. And now I'm going to pass it over to you, John, Nikki, and George, because Rick has asked the question, has anyone seen the new living carnivore diet promoted by Dr. Sean O'Mara?
I
Yes.
have. You have. Tell us about it. I haven't. Not yet.
I saw, first time I saw it was last summer, and then I just saw one in our WhatsApp group where he was on Fox News, just describing the fermented foods and red meat, right? And he's talking about just red meat and combining the two and how they could be good for you. And I agree. Like the fermented foods, it just makes sense to me. I think that there's many doors that can be opened when we choose not to close our minds, right? Like I choose to be mostly carnivore because it just makes sense to me, and I like simple. I could say I'm lazy, but no, I just like it simple. I don't want to be peeling potatoes. I never really like, I just want to have time I just want to do one thing and I'm done, right? I have other things that I'd much prefer to do than be cooking. Honestly, I love cooking, but I really love the simplicity, right? So, so I think it's wonderful that we, to have that open door to close the gap. Like I was telling George the other day, is like, what ways can we close the gap? And, because the whole goal is ultimate healing. Some may not agree with each other. That's fine. We don't agree. Maybe you don't agree, but what sort of outcomes can happen when we close the gap, right? So.
I want to point out something to our audience and to everybody. We often listen to different influencers. We have different guests on here. We all have different opinions, and it should never be one size fits all. And as human beings, we like to put things in boxes. We want it neat and clean. What's the answer? What food should I eat? What food should I stay away from? And there are foods we should never touch, foods that we should stay away from, but we're so individual. Nikki's an example. What works for her is not going to work for another diabetic. What works for George works different for Stephanie and for me. But within that boundary, there's some basic principles that we're learning about what proper human nutrition is. What does the human body require, and what has it required for hundreds of thousands of years? And that's amino acids that make up protein, which we get from animal products. It's fatty acids that come from animal products, both omega-6 and omega-3, that when we eat them from animals, they come in the right ratio, not out of whack like in the standard American or standard world diet. And we need the necessary fat and water-soluble vitamins and minerals. It all comes from animal products. Can you have some plants? Yeah, as a carnivore, I don't want them, but some people can tolerate a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So for somebody to say you should never eat this and never eat that, it's based on what works for your body. Some carnivores that took out all carbs and all plants and just did meat, salt, and water, when they added a little bit of something that is a starch back in, they feel better, just a little bit. So I wanted to point that it's not all or nothing, that we all have to find what works for us individually. Do we agree on that?
We do.
I agree.
I think that's an important point that we sometimes get back to when I get on interviews and everything, because it tends to go in the direction, when I talk to people, they think I'm crazy because I eat this way. And my friends and family, they're like, oh, he's trying. They need to understand I'm going on 7 total years now of eating healthily, and it's showing in my body, but they still see me as the John they knew for 40, 50, 60 years who used to eat all those other ways. So they don't want to listen to me. But we need to understand the basic facts about nutrition. And that's what this all boils down to. What does our body require? And all our guests, we're all finding that carnivore is working. And if not carnivore, ketovore is working. We're taking out that ultra processed crap, the seed oils, and the enormous amounts of starch and sugar.
Yeah, John, I just need to jump in here because there has
Sure.
been a ridiculous conversation going around this week based on people like Lisa Wiedemann and Dr. Kilt.
The people who are quitting, are you
The
hearing
quitting
that? What is
carnivore
that all about?
conversation. It's utter nonsense. But basically, these people are in such a position now where they've come this far down the line that they are totally confident in their health. So all they're doing is putting a bit of nuance into the conversation. Instead of being the carnivore police, they're saying, well, you know, what if we were to just, for example, Dr. Kilts is adding more fish back into his diet because he's worried about his CAC score and he wants to experiment with it. I believe that Dr. Wiedemann is adding a few carbs back in. Now, for me, I'm 3.5 years in now. I am totally confident of where I am on the carbohydrate scale. I've totally cured type 2 diabetes. I'm back to my 17-year-old weight. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe what can I do? And I'll tell you what I am doing. And that's that I'm a country boy. And one of my great pleasures when I was a youth was going foraging for wild mushrooms. And, you know, I really enjoy it. I can take my camera with me now. But do you know what? I've decided to make a nod towards paleo because paleo is all about eating meat, but then having wild forage, seasonal food when it's available to you. So what I'm doing this year is I'm going out, I'm foraging wild mushrooms, bringing them home. Lainey is putting them in a double cream or heavy whipping cream and butter sauce. So there's no seed oils or anything like that. And they are only a condiment. They are only a sort of delicious complement to the meat that we are eating. We've just had heavy rain here in the UK today. It's been very dry. And that basically is going to bring the fruiting fungus out. And on Thursday, myself and Lainey are going up into the local Quantock Hills and we're going to go and find some mushrooms. And we're going to have a really good premium meat with them when we get home. Lainey's going to put them in a heavy cream sauce with butter. And we're going to add them as a garnish, a complement, a paleo wild forage complement to what we're eating. People will say, well, mushrooms are toxic. Well, yeah, they are. But I've been doing it now I'm 60. I was taught to mushroom when I was 10. So for 50 years, I've been doing it. So I think I know what I'm doing. But please don't take away my carnivore card. And please don't call the carnivore police on me because I haven't got a back entrance to this house. If I do, it means I've got to jump over a huge wall, and I'm not energetic enough to do that anymore. So
too much of anything is toxic.
Yeah, I want
too much of anything is toxic, right?
Yeah, it's a dosage. So yeah, can I just invite people to join in the quitting carnivore conversation because I think it's a storm in a teacup myself.
I think this is my theory that somebody made that phrase up to catch headlines. Quitting carnivore, like it's something that gets you to why? Let me click, and it's clickbait. I don't think they're actually quitting carnivore. Everybody's just jumping on the bandwagon. Just like when allulose came out, everybody did allulose videos. When the LMNT thing with the maltodextrin came out, everybody made a video about that.
The sugar diet. Who remembers the sugar diet? It lasted a week. Right. It lasted 10 days, maybe, and everybody was talking about it.
So that's
Nobody
what I
ever
think
talks about it anymore.
That's exactly what I think this is. So now you know that carnivore is technically a hypercarnivore is a person who eats 70% or more animal products. So that 30% could really be anything, and you're still considered a carnivore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and I very much agree with all that's being said. And the nuance is that we are turning it round. We are starting off by eating and prioritizing the most nutrient-dense foods, the foods with all the essential nutrients that we need, i.e. the animal proteins and the animal fats. We're putting them first. And then we're looking at all the rest of the real foods. We're looking at all the rest of the real foods and saying, okay, I can have a bit of this and a bit of that because I can tolerate it. I seem to be okay with that amount. Now, for some people, that amount is almost zero. For other people, they can tolerate a lot more. And some of these guys who are doing it, they're well jacked, aren't they? They're out surfing or they're out running or they're out weightlifting all the time. They tend to be younger guys. They tend to not have had any metabolic dysfunction of the past. And what works for them is going to be different to what works for us. But there are some universals. We all need the same essential fatty acids and essential amino acids, essential animal proteins and essential animal fats. And then some of us can tolerate some of these other real foods without becoming sick.
I
And
asked this question of Dr. Anthony Chafee when I interviewed him, and I said, isn't the dose that makes the poison? Some people can tolerate a little bit of this stuff from the mushrooms and a little bit of this from the plants. And he looked me right in the eye and said, what's the dose? Nobody knows the dose.
yeah,
How much of that? And then if you're having a little bit of this, there's many different toxins and many different things, and you're getting little doses of all these things, but we just don't know what it is. So just keep that in mind when you do add some, and just observe your body. When you observe your body, what you can tolerate beyond. Now that we're carnivores, our body's so clean and clear that we can see signals so easily. And if something's not right with your mushrooms or anything like that, you back off. It's a wonderful learning experience.
Absolutely. Can I just point out that we are all friends here of Dr. Kiltz? And Dr. Kiltz has these two words, significance and frequency. Mm-hmm. By significance, he means the doses, the amount. So he says it's okay as long as you don't have a significant amount. And again, the frequency, it's like he recommends his ice. I was actually doing a bit of homework tonight. He recommends his ice cream 2 to 6 times a year, I think, or something like that as a treat. So there is no frequency involved there. Like with me and my mushrooms, the mushroom season is very short here in the UK, maybe 2 months. I might eat them once every 2 weeks when I've got time to go out and gather them. So I might have a dosage of maybe 4 portions of Laney's mushrooms and cream and butter sauce. That's not significant, nor is it frequent. So yeah, Dr. Kiltz, significance and frequency. I think he hits the nail on the head very nicely there.
And there's something else, George. I don't know if this means anything to you, but I did hear from an influencer that a mushroom, unlike plants, is a fungus. It's a fungi. So it's almost like a living creature. So it's kind of not, it's a plant, but it's not a plant.
Okay, so it comes from a mycelia, and they live underground, which is, and they tend to go in rings. While we find mushrooms in what they call fairy rings. Mm-hmm. The way of finding them is for looking where the grass, there is an anomaly in the grass, which is circular. Often the grass is paler because the mycelia has taken the nutrients out of the soil, which means the grass is different. Find those fairy rings, and that there will be a mycelia underground. Now, the fungus, the mushroom itself, is the fruit of that mycelia. So the mycelia is a living organism under the ground, and the mushroom is the fruit. It carries the spores in the gills underneath the cap, the traditional cap, and that's how they spread. So yeah, it is almost, it's a cross between the plant. It's a different order altogether. A mycologist, I believe, is as somebody who studies mushrooms. I would what you might call a very amateur mycologist. I know what a mycelia is and about spores and gills and that sort of thing. But if anybody's interested, go and find a mycologist to talk to.
I'd love to talk to you later about this because I've always been interested in how do you know which ones are poisonous and which ones aren't. We don't need to go into that now, but I'm just
okay. I'll give you I'll give you the heads up then, John.
We don't need to.
No, John. Sorry, I'm going to come in because I've been waiting.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries.
Go, Steph.
Bring in the audience. Sorry.
Sorry.
About that. But Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
We're talking about mushrooms. Said she has sauteed mushrooms with steak once a month, and so far she's having no bad reactions. And Joe says, I
think that's okay. Sorry, go on.
Which camp I'm in, but my daily meal has huge amounts of meat or fish with animal fat, some eggs, and a roasted green pepper or courgette. So am I carnivore or keto? So, Nikki, let's go over to you.
Well, I think that people should make the choices that help them to be the most successful. If you want to pop in a mushroom sometimes because that's going to make you more successful and ditch the carbs, all the power to you. If you want to do that a few times a month, go ahead. If that's going to help you stop you from eating the cookie, cake, and ice cream, all the power to you.
I agree.
Right? That's my opinion. Yep. If you don't want to, don't do it. Right? Just do what you want. Create the life plan in all directions that meets your need. Is this going to make me spiral? Is this going to make me be successful?
Good advice.
Quick comment. That's a hypercarnivore meal that Joe's just described there, because it's well and truly more than 70% animal fat. So yeah, no question, Joe, you are hypercarnivore. It's as simple as that.
And it's working for you. That's the main thing. The results show up in your own body, in your own mind, in your own intuition. You kind of know after a while of eating this way what is going to be working best for you. And George, you've got people backing you up. And George, I love it when you tell us something new.
Okay, I'll just rapidly say what I was going to say. Right.
Me too.
Coach Juliet Edens has got her own channel, and she knows that I'm very interested in fungus. And we have CB Carmack from Alabama, who is the expert in America on fungus. We're going to take photographs. She will be interviewing us both about fungus gathering in the near future. Thanks, Steph.
Yes. And sorry for cutting you off. I do get over enthusiastic.
Sorry, me too.
There's a hard stop, however, I believe, and that is ultra processed food, seed oils,
Absolutely,
and large amounts of starch and sugar. We don't have that. Now, you shouldn't have a little bit of that. You shouldn't have any seed oils at all, because they're machine lubricants, and they cause massive inappropriate inflammation in the human body. They're not meant to be in the human body. We never ingested them for years, and we never ate so many carbs and sugar in the millennia that humans have been on the planet as we do today. So those are a hard no. Do we get a?
I agree. A hard no. I agree.
Anything from refined sugar, sucrose, definitely a hard no. And anything with high fructose corn syrup in it, definitely a hard no.
And today's modern fruit is not the fruit of years ago. It's been genetically modified and sprayed with glyphosate. It's sweeter and larger and higher fructose and glucose content than any fruit of the past. So everybody's like, well, what about bananas and pears and apples? They have to be good for you, because, we heard over and over again, fruits and vegetables. So we have
wild forage in season fruit.
Right. Which is how many times a year, right? Is that available?
This time of the year, and that is it. It is an item of the fall, and I'll tell you who benefits from it, and that's bears. Bears are carnivores, but they get stuck into that fruit. Why? Because they know that fructose makes them fat. Okay, so that's if you want to get fat, go and eat fruit. If you want to stay slim, avoid it. If you want to hibernate, go to sleep for 6 months. Go and eat as much fruit as you possibly can. If not, I would stay away from it.
I might want to hibernate. I like that idea.
That's a great analogy.
Any other questions from our audience that we can highlight there, Stephanie, before we do our closure here?
We've got just a few shout outs. Sandy says she loves CB. We love you both, CB and you, Sandy. Joe says she feels like she's now doing well in class. So
Joe is one of my favorite recent friends, and I'm so delighted she's coming on here in a few weeks' time, because her energy is amazing, and her story will be amazing as well. So really looking forward to seeing you, Joe.
We are, and Joe is joining us on the 16th of November. And I'll just say that next week we have the amazing Boston Carnivore, aka Diane Ladd, who is joining us. And the week after that, we've got Kimberly Morrow joining us. So we've got some fantastic, episodes, some fantastic shows coming up.
Yeah, some fantastic. Who have we got on November the 23rd, Seth?
On November the 23rd, we've got Dr. Kill.
Oh, great.
Joining us.
Yeah, so I thought I'd better get that one in. he would never forgive us if we ignored him. So there we go.
That's good.
Yeah, we've already had Dr. Nelson and Alia on, so we thought it was about time we got Dr. Kiltz on. Otherwise, he would feel a bit left out. So he's coming on.
Good. All right, let's go around the circle and share where we can find you and connect with you and your work on the internet. We'll start with George and go clockwise.
Yeah, just developing my YouTube channel. Just relaunched it with an interview with Dr. Kiltz. It's now called Good Enough For You. But I am more active on Facebook still, because I'm still a bit of a techno idiot when it comes to YouTube. and I'm currently specializing in doing restaurant reviews, carnivore restaurant reviews. I did 2 this weekend, one of which I think I found the HQ for future carnivores in the UK, called the Longhorn Bar and Grill near Cheltenham in Gloucestershire in England. So anybody who knows me on Facebook, go and find me, you'll find it. And I would encourage people around the world to do the same thing, because I do have a long-term plan that we actually put together some sort of book, some sort of annual publication, which is the Carnivore Eating Out Guide, such as the Michelin Guide or the Egon Rone Guide. I really feel that there is a niche in the market there. I can cover the southwest of England. Steph can cover Wales. She already introduced me to an excellent place in Wales. So yeah, get out there, folks. Don't be afraid to go down your local steakhouse, explain what carnivore is, and then report back on it on Facebook or any other medium that you've got. And we will put it all together one day, and we will actually make the book one day. Thank you.
Right, well, I'm Stephanie and I'm at Happy Sexy Health. I have a YouTube channel as well, and I would love you to subscribe to that. I bet some of you are not subscribed, are you? So if you're not, do put that right today, Happy Sexy Health. And if you want to check me out on my sun terrace in Ayanapa in the sunshine over the next month, do follow me on YouTube as well at Happy Sexy Health. That's all from me. It's been great again in the comments and just having a chat with you, getting to know you all, and look forward to seeing you next week from the sunshine. Over to you, Nikki.
Thanks for joining, and you can contact me or join us at Club Carnivore, or you can join my Miss Laugh-A-Lot channel. You'll know it's me because I'm wearing the red and white. Club Carnivore. We'll be doing a series called Let's Eat. And so if you want to jump on stage and cook for us, we're raising money for Healing Humanity. So just jump on and we'll tell you more.
Yeah, I think we're going to explain that one tonight, aren't we, Nicky, on when we do Club Carnivore in an hour's time. So, yeah, if you want to come and join us there, Nicky will explain it. I will be helping out as best I can, but I've turned down her kind offer to actually cook on screen myself, because I don't think anybody just wants me to chuck a raw steak on a plate and eat it. So there we go.
Well, I think that's a teaching point. We could have a raw session, because it's such a good teaching point. We're all taught that raw is bad, right? That you're going to die. But how many of you are still living, right? And you're eating raw.
Exactly.
What are the benefits, right? So I think that's a point where we could have a raw show too.
That's a great idea. I'm John, the Carnivore Teacher. I'm on YouTube as the Carnivore Teacher Alpha. I'm on Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads. I never remember the names of them all. I just shoot them to all the different sites to try to reach and pay forward my knowledge and what I've learned and what's helped me. The N=1 experiment beats every study that's out there, because what works for you says it all. And Carnivore works for me, and it works for hundreds of thousands of people around the world. And it's free. It's just knowledge, and we just learn. And as you learn and grow and apply to your life and tweak things, it's not just food, it's the deodorant you wear and the plastics you take out of your life, and just so many other little things that you learn in this space to help yourself be healthier. Your sleep, your meditation or prayer. There's so many aspects to healthy living that I try to pay forward and that I'm learning as well. I've just bought some earthing shoes that I'm waiting to come in the mail. I'm going to be grounding while I'm walking with shoes on my feet, not just bare feet. So it never ends. It never ends to constantly improve and grow, and trying to share that with everybody too. Nicky, thank you so much for being our guest this week. You've been wonderful. I look forward to subscribing and learning more. And everybody else, thanks for coming and showing up. Our host, George and Stephanie, always grateful, and I love our energy. I love being with you every Sunday, and we'll see everybody hopefully next Sunday. Come back and join us again. Take care.